So I want to go over some of the esoteric aspects of what we've discussed so far. Bear in mind what we're talking about here when we're talking about deep state biopolitics or esoteric biopolitics. There's this theme here that the deep state is essentially the state within a state, the true dominating powers of each and every country in the world. It is an oligarchical force that has always existed. Through an alchemical process, it brings new families in and discards others, but there is a thread, and it can be connected to the one empire project. The idea that since the Babylonians and the Assyrians, the Persians, the Greeks, the Romans, the Holy Roman, and all of the other iterations of empires, including the Spanish, Dutch, Anglo American, and the present day world system that we have, there has been this oligarchical class that has guided it throughout its way. And it does have a project, a esoteric or an occulted, a hidden project called the Great Work, which has to do with this collective ascension of themselves, and it takes on a great messianic theme as well that we'll try to include here. Let's go over a couple of the strains of things we just discussed in the 19th into the 20th century. So we started with Malthus and Darwin and the innovation of both this idea of population control and this idea of natural selection or survival of the fittest, garbed in a kind of science. Again, repeatedly, there's no evidence for either of these ideas. Malthus's ideas that the world's going to explode from population continually is disconfirmed by empirical facts on the ground. Darwin's idea that there's a common origin for all species has never been verified. Quite the contrary. The system or his thought is not only highly unlikely, it has been proven impossible. However, they're supported by the dominant oligarchical class and their esoteric belief system. Let's go to one of the origins of that belief system, the Lunar Society, 1794. It was founded by Charles Darwin's grandfather. And here we see the repackaging of one of these ancient, Kabbalistic, Hermetic, alchemical ideas under the guise of evolution. And it would have the foundation of industrial educational support that would launch Darwin's publication in the mid 19th century. And then the plans were in place to kind of push that out through the university systems and the publications by the late 19th century and mix it into this credo that we'll call social Darwinism, the idea that the oligarchs have to gain even more power at the expense of working folk. But this idea that there are superiors and inferiors, and within that there was sort of a messianic class that had a plan for ascension. And who are the proponents of this? Everybody from Herbert Hoover to Winston Churchill to President Wilson to Adolf Hitler. So there is no divide between East and West with this idea. This is truly an international idea. All the players that went into creating the conflict of World War I and resolving the conflict of World War I, all the players that went into creating the conflict and resolving the conflict of World War II were the head key representatives of this international eugenics movement.